I want to wish you a very happy November 6th. Yesterday, I kind of saw this coming. If you looked at the numbers in Real Clear Politics and the aggregate polling and the number that basically takes all the polls into consideration, it looks to me like they were close. Now I'm going to say this: when they said he was going to win the popular vote, I couldn't fucking believe it. I was like, I can't remember. Was it George W.? George W. Bush did it, I think, in 2004. And he was riding on the coattails of, hey, John. He was riding on the coattails of what happened on November 11th. And so I'm shocked and amazed because this is what it's going to be, okay? This is what happens. They can't say we need a popular vote to get rid of the Electoral College, even though I think MSNBC were screaming about the Electoral College. It's like he's winning the popular vote. And he didn't win it by a small margin. He won it by a big margin, okay? It was a substantial number of people out there that just came in and said, we're done. We're done with this shit. And I really think reaching out to Bobby Kennedy Jr., which was just a brilliant strategy. That's why RFK is on the thumbnail for this. Reaching out to Elon Musk, and actually he reached out to him. Reaching out to Vivek Ramaswamy after the primaries, all of that stuff really, I think, helped him enormously with people. And there's a unity, okay? Tulsi Gabbard, I mean, she was the woman that ended Kamala's first campaign back in 2020. So you want to go back to those moments, go on YouTube. Her bitch slapping Kamala is one of the greatest things in debate history, in my opinion. So we've got a lot of good things going on here just with the team that's being built. And despite the meltdowns that we're seeing on TikTok and everything, I don't see a lot of people like Hollywood stars are quiet. I mean, Bette Midler rage quit X. Oh, I saw that. In fact, that was, I think, one of the first state that was called, if I remember right. But I watched the returns on X because I ain't watching it on Fox. Fuck them, okay? So, Bette Midler rage quit X. I expect to see a lot of people in that little social hive, the entertainer social hive, who have been so horrible the last 4 years, quit. All right. And thanks, Jacob. It's going to be an interesting, 75 days until Trump is inaugurated. And it's just going to be interesting, the transition. When I worked in D.C., and I want to talk a little bit about this. When I worked in D.C., I went through a few elections. I volunteered to the RNC to help Bush, so as part of a national campaign. Then volunteered for his transition team, and then volunteered for his inaugural committee. I've got the letters and everything up. So the day after an election like this, yep, it's true. The day after, Jacob is right, an election like this, and it can be midterms. Okay, let's say midterms. You're walking through where I used to work, Cannon House office building, or the Capitol itself. Oh, it's gonna go for Trump. When I saw the people in Dearborn come out in droves to vote for Trump, yeah, it's you know, but you walk through these corridors in the Capitol building, Cannon House office building, Rayburn, you name it, and it's quiet. People are around, but it's like it's a silence, and part of it is you kind of want to feel bad for the people that lost jobs because, oh yeah, because, yep, Jacob, because where do these staffers go? Okay, and when Army retired, at the point I already had a job. Okay, I already was within a few weeks moving on to the executive branch, and for a presidential appointment, and because hey, the year 2000 was the year of you've got to be fucking shitting me, all right? The entire fucking election cycle. Okay, and I blame Al Gore for me being 32 years old and getting fucking high blood pressure. There, jerk. It, so it's different. Jacob, told me in private that it was quiet on the subways in DC. There you go. It's a new. There's a wind of change that is there. Okay, so yesterday, like Jacob said, 33-point swing in Dearborn. The people there want peace in the Middle East. They want the Iran to be defanged. But I don't want to get into it because it's so complicated that it's not in my wheelhouse to talk about. Hey Baz, how you doing? So but this morning when I woke up at 6, I didn't get to sleep until 2. I woke up at 6. I couldn't go back to sleep, so I just kind of rolled out of bed at around 6:45 and got myself a cup of coffee and went on X, and oh my God, it was like so different from the last time. If you guys remember, like I said, Bette Midler rage quit. Excuse me. I don't think Mark Hamill has posted today. I don't know. Maybe someone can look. Okay. No word on Rob Schneider, on Rob Reiner, I should say. No word on any of these people. Okay. This is the problem. Oh yeah. Oh, I think that's funny, Andrew. Boo-hoo. Get your big girl panties on, okay? Look, if you ever see me get excited over something to the point where I lash out, I'm frustrated and it's not moving fast enough. Like last night, I let the dog out finally for the last time at 1:30. I'm out the garage, and I'm standing there looking up at the sky going, call fucking Pennsylvania. Because what they had to count wasn't enough to carry the state for Kamala. By the way, Scott Pressler is a friend of mine. All praise Scott. That guy, he's this big, and he carried the fucking state on his shoulders. Okay, so, this state owes him a debt of gratitude we will never be able to pay back. But That's when I get mad. When I'm doing this stuff and I'm watching the vote, I see the exit polls, and I'm like, telling people, if you haven't gone to vote, get the fuck off of your asses, get to your polling station and go vote. All right. And I'll just say, matter of factly, I don't get excited anymore. It's Mr. Army's influence. It's Mr. Rogan's influence. It's you know, it's Mr. Hayworth's influence on me. I just you don't get excited. I mean, that's why when you see someone like Mike Johnson, and he's like, that's how you have to be. Okay, Tip O'Neill was like that. Army was like that. Now, they would get excited because I remember when Clinton was being impeached, Army, would go out there and say stuff, and so would Gingrich. But the staffers were calm because don't expend your energy on lashing out at people, okay, and freaking out. Like last night, I'm watching the returns come in, and Steven Crowder, who I'm going to be very honest, is a gigantic piece of fucking shit. Okay, he is I hate that guy. He's posted video with some guy standing there. What they were watching mail trucks roll in, apparently to Philadelphia, the Count City or whatever they call it. And I'm going, do we even know what's in those trucks? Why are we getting excited? 15 minutes after that, video popped out, and everybody on Twitter is losing their minds except for me. Pennsylvania was called for Trump. Okay. All right. I mean, that, is there. The deal is, and when you're position that I held, you're watching the returns come in, you have to have an air of, because the younger set is looking at you for an example. Okay. The younger set's looking at you to wonder, to what do I look like? How do I approach this issue? I mean, and elections are exciting, especially in DC. But after a while, you're just like, we won. And, I am not going to freak out by exit polls or some, rumor spreading all over the internet on X that, oh, this is happening. They're good. And my favorite, this girl passed on the Crowder video and was like, they're stealing the election. They are stealing the election. I'm like, then I got frustrated. Then I'm like, does Donald Trump know this? Instead of freaking out, send the video to Laura Trump, to Waltrip, the guy, her co-RNC chair, and to Trump himself, But don't, it's like Trump wanted, it was too big to rig. Okay. So I do. That's the thing. I'll tell you something. And you guys, if you guys have been on this, if you're not a newbie, you know the story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. It was during the Homeland Security hearings in 2002. I got off the elevator in Cannon. We were in 301 Cannon House office building, right there, corner office. That was the boss's district office. So he had the 26th district congressional office there, and then the majority leader's office in the Capitol. So I spent a lot of time going back and forth. And then I ended up working in the Capitol at the end, and that was quite a time. But I get off the elevator. Nancy Pelosi, without any of her bodyguards, I mean, none of those people, none of her senior staffers, is berating what looked to be an 18-year-old intern, yelling at her like a Karen that got bit by a rabid raccoon. Okay. I'm like, and you could hear her in Army's office. Okay, so I walk in, I'm like, walk in, and Galen Barksdale, who was like he was like the second in command, but he had his own office in that office, comes out and he goes, "What the hell is going on?" And I go, "That is the minority leader humiliating in public an intern." He's like, he stuck his head out the door and went, "Oh, Jesus." And he was like, "Aren't you glad Army's our boss?" I'm like, "Yes." And, that was her though. Like I said, she's the only person I've ever met, and I can't compare her to Hillary Clinton because I never met her. I've never even actually seen Hillary Clinton in real life. She was the only Democrat senator that I didn't get a chance to actually interact with or anything. But so I can't compare Pelosi to her, but Pelosi is the only human being I've ever known in my life that can drop the ambient room temperature of a room by 20 degrees. It's comfortable to, like, the devil's demonic corporeal form walked in or some shit like that. So, but these are the things you kind of remember, when you work on Capitol Hill. A lot of the guys that I knew that worked in the legislative part of the office, like you'd be working out on the whatchamacallit, the elliptical machine, and these two guys would be chattering back and forth. Both of them worked for a Texas congressman whose name escapes me now. I knew them, talking about their bill that they were going to have passed. And I was just like, "And how did you become a congressman?" Okay, you might have written the language for the bill. That's your boss's bill. That's the kind of thing you see though. But today, looking at this election, it's unprecedented. It is unprecedented, and it kills the uniparty. The neocons are dead. I mean, Christ Almighty, did anybody see this? Putin made a speech today in which he said, "I am open to Mr. Trump's ideas on a peaceful resolution," I'm paraphrasing, "for the war in Ukraine." Okay? Oh yeah, Cross, I do too. I feel the same way. And that's a BFD. Okay, that kills, I have to say this if you're from Britain, Baz, if you're still here, your government has to stop wanting to get us into World War III. Tell you a story. I don't know if you guys know who Scott Ritter is. Scott Ritter was a UN nuclear inspector. I think he's a retired Marine Corps major. I personally didn't like him back in the day when we were gearing up to go to Iraq because I thought he was kind of being a traitor because he was viciously going after Bush over over the Iraq thing, and the guy was a UN weapons inspector. Okay, fine. He had a story, and I think it was just him, and this happened in August. Okay, not long ago, where, oh yeah, I can wait, where our Secretary of State and the British Foreign Secretary, whatever his name was, basically wanted the okay for the United States to fire missiles into Russia, which caused Russia to take out their nuclear submarines, surround the United Kingdom, and go, "Don't you dare." Our Secretary of Defense, Mr. Wolcott, gets to the White House right before they do, because he was there at the meeting with the Russians and went, we can't do this. You can't do this. Got a hold of Biden and said, Putin will fire back. He will go, he will nuke us. You can't do this. And believe him. And Blinken was like, oh no, he won't do that. Biden said, I'm not signing that piece of paper. Okay, that's how close it was. All right. We were in Pottstown or Royersford for a birthday for my husband's cousin. There you go. So there's that. I have to say, when I look at all this, that is there divine intervention? Yeah, I do. I believe that. Yesterday before we started seeing the returns come in, Rudy and I said the consecration to it's a prayer to the Blessed Mother to consecrate the election to her. Trump plays Ave Maria at his rallies, especially the one in Butler, Pennsylvania. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there. And of course, the devil's other son, Barack, bitched about that. Kamala Harris, mocked Christians and Jesus. Actually, two boys that go to my university, that went to the university I graduated from, were the ones that yelled Christ is King at her. And then you've got Gretchen Whitmer mocking the Eucharist. And they lose the Catholic vote by 15 points. That is huge. That, I think, is the widest margin for Catholic voters since Reagan, I think. Okay. So, all right, so let's look at it economically. First off, the NASDAQ and the stocks are through the roof. Okay. Secondly, businesses like Disney, businesses like Sundance, soon to be Sundance Paramount, are going to have to look at themselves and see that when you lose Latino voters, when you lose black male voters, when more white men than I've ever seen in my life go to vote, that maybe maligning and attacking the things they believe in, the traditional family, masculinity, their faith, fucking up the economics of this country so bad, people can't find a job with a living wage, attacking, traditional families, and of course the woke shit, wasn't a good idea. Okay, like, oh, I can't remember who this darling of a guy was, but Sean Ono Lennon and a friend of his were talking today, a mutual friend, I think, of Elon Musk's, and a Democrat was attacking Latinos for supporting Trump. It's like, there's your problem, okay? You treated them like tokens, and they retaliated, okay? You didn't meet their needs. They don't like illegal immigration any more than the rest of us are. Those people are natural born American citizens, or they're legal immigrants, and you're bringing in people from all over the goddamn place, places they escaped from, to third world us. What do you think they're gonna do? All right? And, black men are looking at Barack Obama saying, you never did anything for us, ever. And you're talking down to us and trying to shame us to vote for this slag? I think not. Okay. So that's the way it went. And if you're, Robert Iger, you see your presidential dreams or an ambassadorship go up in flames. You see any sort of cabinet appointment go up in flames, and you see that, you're going to have to figure out what's going on with Disney and maybe start changing things. Now, let's talk about Lucasfilm. Anybody here, raise your hand if you watched the documentary about John Williams that Kennedy and Marshall produced, executive produced. All right, put a 1 in the chat. It looks to me, and this is the feeling, that she is going to kind of quietly be removed. There will be an announcement, and she will go on to start probably making other films and lots of documentaries about the legends of film, like Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, John Williams, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, you know, all those guys. Okay, and that's going to be her legacy. Okay, but as far as an announcement, I would think today would be an epic day to put that out there. I would have thought last night, while the returns were coming in, put out a blurb. Kathleen Kennedy is retiring from Lucasfilm, effective Friday. Okay, nothing. So this is what I think we all need to do. We just need to sit back and just relax. It's happening. She's not there anymore. We know it. The people who think she's still there, they know she's not there. The black pill blobs know she's not there anymore. They've said so. They won't give Cameron any credit. They won't give me any credit. I don't give two fucks. Okay. Dilligaff, do I look like I give a fuck if you give me credit or not? And that's the way it's got to be. But as I thought we reached peak woke in 2018, but I think this the raging woke bullshit of the acolyte kind of was the last gasp. Leslie Headland has completely disappeared off the map. All right, she's like not there, not around. No word from Amanda Stenberg and Jody, whatever, Foster, Jody something Smith. They've been silenced. Why? Because they aren't getting any of what they wanted. And they never needed it to begin with. Okay? All they needed was their talent. Now, I'm going to add this, and then I got to go because I'm losing my voice and I got to go do some things. So, how many guys in my chat know that there's a law on the California books that forces studios to hire DEI casts? That the studios, despite its hindrance of creativity and how it may hurt the product, are forced to hire inappropriate cast and crew. They have a quota. And I think basically it violates, okay, Cross. I think it basically violates the equal protection under the law. Okay, so my thing is, do not be surprised if you see a white actor, a white male actor, take that law to court, all the way to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court will overturn it because it violates that, what is it, equal protection under the law? Which one is it? I can't remember, but it's one of the amendments. So it's like, that's going to happen. Okay, that is going to happen. And again, all right, it opens up the way for real creativity. Okay, people like Cameron or the 14th Amendment. All right, people like Cameron would actually be in a better position to get jobs then. Okay? That's what you want. You want talented people up there for the merit, for their work ethic, for their uh, intelligent way of telling stories, etc. You want talented actors. And if, I'm going to say this, if the role calls for a white woman, guess what? She can be a redhead and you can't brown wash her. So we got Michigan. Okay, so how many does that bring Trump's total in electoral college? Close to 300, I think it does. And I think with Nevada, it's over 300. It's about 312. So, it's not a, ass kicking that Walter Mondale got, but 292. Okay. So, thank you. So, that's the thing. It's not anti-black or anti-race, whatever, to have proper people cast in proper roles. Okay. And, maybe, the people from the alphabet mafia will understand we don't hate you. We don't give a shit. Okay. It's time for you to just work side by side with people. Keep your private life to yourself. Everybody, don't care if you put a picture of your significant other in your cubicle or whatever, or invite them to come to the company picnic. Don't care. But don't expect us to treat you any different than we treat the women. And no, you don't get access to the women's bathroom if you're a guy. Okay? I mean, that's the stuff that has to come back. And I think with this incredible cultural shift that we saw, people are sick of it. People are sick of it. That I think we're going to get, have a turn the page to something where everybody can be and nobody's cut out because of their skin color. Because again, the Supreme Court overturned racial quotas in colleges, etc. That law in California is under that ruling, I would think. All right. So, all right, I gotta go. My voice is leaving. Oh God, I didn't have a chance to smoke this, but I think Friday we'll have our celebration. Okay. So this is Steph signing out. As far as Kathleen Kennedy goes, an announcement's got to come soon. Okay. I'll see you guys around the galaxy.